Whoopi Goldberg in the last couple of years has managed to do what I call kicking the hornet's nest in a multitude of ways. Of course, in some of those ways she backtracked, but on this one, she definitely should not backtrack on this one. At least I don't think they're going to make her do it, quote unquote. So recently on The View, and I believe it was on January 30th or maybe the 29th, but it was very recent. They were talking about, of course, Tyree Nichols, because that is the major topic of discussion and has been for the last week and a half, where she made a very bold statement, but it's a statement that many people in the black community have made for quite some time. But I don't think I would say it's rare that someone with a platform such as hers actually would make this statement publicly into the world. And that was, if more white people were to get beaten by the police in the same vein as what we saw with Tyree Nichols, with a public display for the whole world to see, would there be some type of police reform because they happen to be white? And that's a question, again, that we've had for quite some time, or maybe an assumption that we have made, because I truly believe that would be the case. I bet you they would dial it back. And there's some one-off rarity instances where there have been some white people who have been casualties of police brutality, but it's not many. At least not many that have made it to the mainstream media market, to the point where it's all over the news. You have people out there protesting for these individuals. Like, there's some names out there. And that goes back to a point that the Amazing Lucas was making when I watched his video about this same thing, because he was throwing some names out there, white people who were affected by police brutality, and some actually lost their lives. And how there's white people out there that don't even care that this stuff happened to them. But when it came to black people, because they put it out there, now they have something to say. So it's almost like a thing of I don't know if it's an envy thing that their stuff is not being put out there for news consumption so they can have a reason to go and make some noise, or is it because they don't like black people that much when something like this is happening, but then they're kind of glad that it does. It's a weird paradigm. It's kind of hard to explain. It's very hard to explain to me. Well, maybe it's a difficult concept for me to grasp, and I'm sure someone could better explain it. So to avoid rambling, I kind of leave it up in the air. But y'all see where I'm trying to convey, what I'm trying to get across. But I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from mynbc15.com to get more breakdown of what she said. The View co-host Whoopi Goldberg questioned Monday whether the U.S. needed to see white people also get beaten in order for something to be done about police brutality. Seeing things don't seem to make sense to people unless it's somebody they can feel or they can recognize. But how many times do we need to see white people also get beaten before anybody will do anything? Goldberg questioned. I'm not suggesting that, so don't write us and tell me what a racist I am, she quickly attempted to clarify. I'm just asking, is that what people have to see in order to wake up and realize that this affects us all? Goldberg's comments come in light of the recent controversy over the death of Tyree Nichols, and I'm not going to go into any more about that. We just know that this is what it's coming on the heels of. And this is after the release of the body cam footage. Others attempted to tie Nichols' death at the hands of police to race, even though each of the officers allegedly involved in the beating were also black. But they also added in that there was some white officers there. Preston Hemphill, and allegedly there's a seventh officer as well that they haven't given their identity either. Someone said it doesn't matter what color those police officers are. Representative Maxwell Frost of Florida said in a now deleted tweet. He said the murder of Tyree Nichols is anti-black and the result of white supremacy. Former ESPN host Jamel Jamami Hill also connected Nichols' death to white supremacist violence. They said, I need to see so many people to understand this. Regarding Tyree Nichols, several of the police officers who murdered Freddie Gray were black. The system of policing is based on white supremacist violence, Hill tweeted after the body cam footage of the beating was released. We see people under the boot of oppression carry its water all the time. Reports from the Washington Post and New York Times following Nichols' death similarly linked his death to race. The widely viewed videos of the Nichols beating provided fodder for right-wing ecosystems that routinely blame Black America maladies on Black America and spawned nuanced conversations among Black activists about how systemic racism can manifest in the actions of non-white people, the Post report wrote. The Post report indicated some studies have shown Black police officers use excessive force less frequently against Black individuals compared to their white counterparts, but conceded the difference was only marginal. A report from the Times similarly added that the problems of race in policing are the result of entrenched police culture and aggression and dehumanization of Black people. Now, that last part I would definitely, agree with. And this right here shows something else right here. And this is actually something that Corey Holcomb actually spoke about on 5150 this past Tuesday. Well, by the time, I don't know when this video is going to go up, but I would say on the 31st when his episode aired. He said by this happening, in so many words, by this happening, with Black cops doing what they did to Tyree Nichols and us seeing it the way that we did, he said this really proves without the shadow of a doubt that there's really nothing here in America for Black people. This right here was the nail in the coffin right here. Because we see how other groups have treated us, but to actually see something like that, now that pretty much puts you might as well throw the dirt on top of the casket at this point. Like this, basically, he was basically saying that this is pretty much it for, Black people in America. Now take with that what you want, but those are his words, not mine. But what Whoopi Goldberg said is pretty much spot on. And we already know there's going to be PC people that's going to be upset about that, really don't care how they feel. But I find it very interesting as well, because these are the same people that will come out the window and say that they are the most ones, they're the ones that are affected most by police brutality. But then they have some people who look like them who was affected by police brutality, and then they didn't say a thing. And let's just clarify this, because, PC, they going to take her words and completely jumble them up. She did not say that white people needed to get beat up more by the police, because that's what they'll take of what she said and jumble it up and put that out there. She didn't say that white people needed to get beat up more by the police. She didn't say that. She says we need to see, she questioned if we needed to see more of this kind of thing happening to them, like seeing videos of them being affected by police brutality, because again, these are some of the same ones that says that they are affected by police brutality, but rarely do you ever see it, opposed to when it comes to Black people, and you see that quite often, no matter the age or the gender. We see it quite often. It's like those body cam footages work, or those body cams work when it comes to Black people, but when it's with white people, you don't see it. That's why a lot of people don't believe them when they say they're affected the most by police brutality, because it's like, where's your proof that you are? Because when is the last time you've ever seen a white person be affected by police brutality in all of the videos that leave such a digital paper trail behind, showing them literally being affected by police brutality, being spread all over the news? You rarely, if ever, see it. I cannot remember. I'll put it like this. Where is the white person equivalent of a George Floyd? Where is the white equivalent of, let's use a recent one, Tyree Nichols? Where's the white equivalent of a Breonna Taylor? Granted, we didn't see, the actual death of her, but we saw the body cam footage as much as they put out there. Where's the white person equivalent of a Mike Brown or a Tamir Rice? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It goes back years. If they want to go back to Trayvon Martin, but I only count that because that wasn't a police brutality case. But a lot of the stuff that fell and came after it. It's crazy. We've been dealing with this for over a decade, at least on a consistent basis. But many of them will claim that they are affected the most by police brutality, but we don't see it. So maybe there's something there. Maybe something would actually happen if they put it out there. But see, a lot of them are getting their entertainment when it comes to us. It's not so entertaining when it's them. And this goes back to what Amazing Lucas said in his video, that white people don't even care about themselves, because there have been some stories that slipped through the cracks and made it into the mainstream outlets, but they didn't stay there very long, where white people were affected by police brutality. So again, Whoopi Goldberg didn't say that they weren't affected by police brutality. No one is saying anything close to that. It's just saying if theirs was shown more, like they love to show ours, because they keep playing Tyree Nichols in an endless loop. If they show theirs in an endless loop like they did with us, would something change? That still remains to be seen, because that has yet to happen. But I guess we'll have to see what the future holds, but I won't hold my breath, and neither should you.